I have a million and one things that I want to share, that I want to talk about. I'm and I'm not really sure which one I want to bring forward today. And so I think we'll just get started by arriving here in this space together, just taking a few deep breaths and just becoming present and landing here. And then I will just see where that takes us and what comes forward, because right now I have no idea what's going to come out of my mouth. I have like 11 different options. But yeah, we'll see. So wherever you are, just closing your eyes, and we'll take some clearing breaths. So we'll breathe in through the nose. Big sigh out through your mouth. Inhale through your nose. Filling up and letting go. Two more like this together. Last one. And letting your breath settle to find a nice slow breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Letting your dust settle, letting your mind settle and your body settle. Arriving here in this space, this moment, and just observing what you're noticing in your body, in your mind, in your heart. You know, what are you feeling? This is probably the first time you've asked yourself this all day. So drop in and see, how am I feeling? What am I feeling? What's going on inside of me? And see if you can just observe it with curiosity, without judgment, without story, without needing to let it take you away, you know? Notice you want to fly away or flee or get carried away by whatever it is you're experiencing. I invite you to just try sitting next to it, observing it, knowing that you're safe. And just taking a few more breaths here with yourself without trying to do anything or fix anything or be anything. Just breathing and being you. Perfectly imperfect. Imbalanced in all the right ways, in the exact ways that you're needing to be. Hurting in all the ways you're needing to be. Feeling like not enough in all the ways you're needing to be. And feeling so safe in that. Softening your edges around it. Maybe even finding where you feel it in your body. So maybe you feel it in your belly or closer in your back, in your heart, or between your shoulder blades, your throat, your legs, wherever you feel this uncomfortable thing. You can imagine creating some space for it like you would a guest. So getting it pillows and blankets, making sure it has everything it needs. And you'll notice as you do this, as you tend this space, as you create room for it, as you make it comfortable, the rest of your body can relax. Your mind can sort of let go of that train of thought of worry, of how to fix it. And it gets even just the tiniest bit easier to be with that. to be with that discomfort, that fear, that pain, that worry. And then when you're ready, you'll slowly bring yourself back to this space, taking your time, moving gently, and then using soft blinks to open your eyes. Hello, Janice and Jamie. I'm excited y'all are on with me. Yeah, so this is embodiment, and it is a radical shift in how we experience our lives. It is a radically new way of being willing to not know, to be willing to hop on Facebook Live, having 11 different paths I want to take, and having no idea which one is the best one, having no way to logically prepare myself for this, holding this space for what's going to come out of my mouth, for why I'm even here. I just know I'm supposed to be here talking, and so I showed up with no idea what to talk about, what to do. And as I sat and then just sit with myself, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just here to be embodied, to be a mirror of it, a model of embodiment to you, so you can see what it really is. I talk a lot about it and the benefits of it and like all around it, but I haven't really talked a whole lot about like what embodiment actually is. And so it's just this willingness to be present with yourself, to be in your body and feel what you're feeling when it feels terrifying, when it feels unsafe, when you feel like there are a million things you should be doing that logically will get you to where you need to be. Like right now, I have $11 in my bank account. I have bills due today. There's stuff coming out of my account today. And I logically have no idea where that money is going to come from. I really don't. And it's terrifying. And at the same time, like my logical brain has a whole list of things I should be doing and can be doing. And I will do some of them. But the thing is, I can't do all of them, and I can't logically know which one is the right one. And the only way to know that, to find that clarity, is to sit and be present with myself and to create space to connect with myself, with my deeper places, my soul, the part of me that knows how to provide for myself, the part of me that knows how to call in money, the part of me that knows that I'm enough and that knows how to feel good and how to feel safe. That part of me is directly connected to God. Like that is my goddess inside of me. It's my soul. It's the piece of me that is divine and sacred. And yes, my logical brain is going to come up with some really great ideas, but I'm going to let my soul guide me to which ones to take, because my soul knows so much more than my brain. And your soul knows so much more than your brain. And the way to come into contact with your soul, with the piece of you that knows, is to get quiet, to sit and to feel and to be willing to be here, even when you don't really know what you're doing or how you're supposed to be doing it or what the point is. If you're being called to go sit at the park, in a moment of quiet, it comes forward that you need to be spending time at the park every day. You don't have to understand it, and you don't have to defend it or justify it to yourself. You have total permission to listen to your soul and to go spend time at the park. And I promise, after a few days, weeks, months, even sometimes after a few minutes or hours there, you suddenly know. You're like, oh, this is why I was supposed to come here. I'm so glad I listened. Your logical mind, my logical mind, does not tell me that the way to make money is to go spend 2 hours at the park this morning. But that's what I did, and it brought me this beautiful awareness that I've arrived home in myself. It's something I may have logically picked up on a few times here and there recently, but I was able to feel in my body how at home I feel, how safe I feel, even with $11 in my bank account, even when my love life feels like a fucking disaster, a shit show, even when I don't know if I'm doing it right and I don't know logically if I'm safe, I feel safe in my body. And that is something that I want for everyone, because we all have checked out of our bodies. And it wasn't until I started my embodiment work, until I specifically started to focus on that, that I started to really understand that I didn't have it. You know, I knew I had really overcome so much with anxiety and depression. I knew I had opened my heart. I knew I had met my feminine and kind of like unlocked my goddess and my enoughness, you know, my sense of value. But I didn't really notice how much lack of presence I still was living with. It wasn't until I decided to do 30 days of morning meditation in my Facebook group. And it's funny because I thought I was doing this for them. I thought I was doing it for my friends and clients and family and my people to experience what I had experienced already through meditation. And it was supposed to be this perfectly imperfect, like wake up at 6 a.m. in my PJs, like throw on my earbuds and lead a guided meditation. I had no idea how much I was going to get out from it, you know, out of it. So I did. I just showed up every morning at 6, sometimes 6:30, you know, if I overslept. I did miss a day or two. But I showed up and I was tired. I couldn't do the thing I normally do in my meditations, right? Like in my meditations, I normally take everyone on a journey. And I couldn't take people on journeys because I was just tired and I had just woken up and I didn't want to. And so it became just sitting there quietly with each other and holding space for them to sit and breathe and space for me to sit and breathe. I didn't have to take anyone on a journey. I didn't have a job to do. I got to just sit and be present. I did that every morning for 30 days, and it showed me how present I wasn't before. And I didn't really understand that before, that I wasn't totally present, that I wasn't in my body. I had found this really happy place. I had found this open heart and all this love and passion, but I wasn't receiving it in my body. I wasn't living in that space. I was flying in it. You know, I was still very flighty. I used to be flighty mostly out of fear. And then I found I was using my passion and my happiness as a way to stay flighty, you know, to stay inaccessible and to sort of, I would kind of be like above my body and my joy, right? And I didn't realize that that wasn't it, that wasn't the thing, you know. And I'm sure embodiment, there's another thing after this, like you're never done, right? And I knew I wasn't done, but I didn't know how much deeper I could feel that joy and that passion once I brought it into my body. And so at the end of that 30 days of meditation, I could see that this was the feminine. This was the sacred feminine, the piece of me that knows how to just sit and be, that knows how to hold space, that is like full of permission and allowance and acceptance. The part of me that could sit and be with things and people and situations that were uncomfortable, some of them deeply uncomfortable. I would even go beyond uncomfortable and say painful, terrifying. I learned to sit with those pieces of me, and I knew this is the sacred feminine. This is the undomesticated side of me. This is the wild side of me, the side of me that has not been conditioned into fear, the side of me that has not been programmed into so much editing that I felt not alive anymore. And that's what my life used to look like. I was perfectly domesticated and programmed. I was so full of social anxiety that I barely opened my mouth, and if I did, it was self-deprecating humor or it was a desperate attempt at relating to people. That probably came off as one-upping or being a know-it-all. You know, I've been called a know-it-all. But there was this way I had no idea how to connect with people. And it's because I was so disconnected from myself. I can see that so clearly now. But I was full of fear and self-doubt and judgment to the point that it was debilitating. I did not know how to talk to people. I did not know how to be around people. I didn't know what to put on my body when I woke up in the morning. I didn't know what food to eat. Every single decision was a thing. It was a production, and I was locked up in fear. And I was trying so hard to meet this outside version of who I should be, this domesticated self who is beautiful and knows how to talk to people and is loving and kind and gives. I was trying to be this wounded masculine's version of the feminine. And I'll talk more about that. I could go on and on for that. I think I want to do a webinar, but we'll see. And so I got a taste of this wild feminine, of the sacred feminine, of this part of me that knows how to sit and be, that knows she's enough, that knows how to feel good, that knows how to relax into her life rather than hover around it. And so I knew I wanted more of that, and I had no idea how to do it. I had not a fucking clue. And from my meditation practice, I was like, okay, I'm willing to not know how to do that. But I know women who do know how to do that. I do know women who have embodied the feminine. And so I followed probably 100 new Instagram accounts of healers and teachers and women who were living this sacred feminine life, who I could tell knew the wild feminine and were speaking about her and teaching about her and modeling her for people. And so I gave myself permission to not know, and I started to just repost stuff from other people and to kind of lose my message and take the pressure off of myself to show up and teach. And I gave myself space to just read these words of these women and soak up their energy, soak up their teachings, and really embody it for myself, starting to pull it into me without having to share it with other people, without having to teach about it, without having to understand it. I was like soaking it up energetically. I became a sponge for all things sacred feminine, all things wild, all things undomesticated, all things natural and at ease and space holding, right? And in that time, I had also signed up to work with my healer for 6 months, which was terrifying. I had no idea how I was going to pay her. I had no idea just how much the journey would require of me. You know, I knew I was signing up for deep transformation, which is always terrifying, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. But I knew I needed help. I knew I wanted to access this part of me. And I knew I wanted that, not because I was judging myself or comparing myself or I thought I wasn't good enough. I wanted what these other women had because it was possible for me. That is one of my fundamental beliefs, is that you want what you want because it's you. It's a little crumb of you that you're supposed to come here and gather and take in for yourself. So I knew it was not bad of me to want what these women had. I knew it was that piece of me wanting to come online. So I signed up to work with my healer, and holy shit, it has been a journey. It has been profound and amazing. And I've been on this deep dive, intense personal transformation journey for a little over 3 years now, actually. I've been working with healers nonstop for 3 years, and I can honestly say the past few months of this journey of embodying the feminine, the sacred feminine, has been the most profound of it all. And so when at a certain point I realized, okay, I'm done absorbing. Like, I know this piece is in me now. I know her. I feel her. I can experience her. But I have no idea how to speak as her. I have no idea how to show up in my world as her. And so what came forward was to do 40 days of writing. Every day for 40 days, I would sit down at my computer and I would write. And it didn't matter what came out, but the intention was to find my voice, was to start speaking from this deeper place, from this more sacred depth of mine that I had discovered. And so it was in the safety of my bedroom, on my computer, in my private Google Doc, where like no one else had to see it. And I've had some really beautiful poetry come from it. I've had some amazing ideas and downloads. And for those of you who have been following me a while, like, you likely have noticed the difference in my voice, in the way that I speak, and not just my speaking voice, like my talking voice, my writing. My writing has changed and evolved. My message has evolved. And so in that 40 days, I really learned how to speak as me and to be myself. And what I want to speak to about that is the power of having a clear container and an intention for yourself. When you decide that you want something, you know, that you desire this change, this transformation, this healing for yourself, and you can name it, you know, I want this thing, and I have no idea how to do it. I'm willing to not know, and I'm going to enlist the help of someone who does know. And I'm going to have this very clear container where I can practice and focus on this one thing. And that's what I would do. I've been doing that a lot. I did 30 days of meditation. I did 60 days without alcohol, which was so clarifying. And actually the 40 days of writing ended up overlapping. It came up about halfway or 2/3 of the way through my 60 days without drinking. I knew I needed to be alone, so I stopped dating and held total alone space. I knew I needed to learn how to be this person with myself and with the world, and I knew I couldn't have men in my life while I did that. You know, that just wasn't going to be possible because I still had these accommodating tendencies in me, this pleaser, this matcher of like, what do you need me to be? And I'll show up as that. And so I knew I needed a bubble, I needed a safe space. No men, 40 days of writing. And that combined with not drinking, not drinking was not, I didn't think it'd be that big of a deal because I have a few beers every now and then. You know, I'll go to the beer garden and like meet friends and have a few drinks, but I was not a heavy drinker at all. I used to drink wine every night, like half a bottle of wine every night, and at this point I was having like a couple beers a weekend, so I really didn't think it'd be that big of a deal. But instead of going to the bar to have a drink, I would stay home and paint. And so that was the thing that started bringing me back to myself. I started to notice the ways that I would numb out and the ways I would disconnect from myself and from my experience. And by cutting out this one seemingly insignificant source of numbing, I brought online this whole new self. And in doing that was when I realized I wanted more. So I started to, or I wanted, whatever. I started doing the 40 days of writing, no men. And that has long ended, and I still barely drink. I think I've had 2 beers in the past 4 months. I still would prefer to spend my time with me than doing something just to fill the time. And I'm still writing. I'm still practicing this voice and practicing being. But all of this came when I started to put the embodied journey together. I did my 30 days of meditation, and then that is when the embodied journey came forward. It was like, this is a thing I want you to birth. And so the embodied journey sparked my own personal journey of embodiment. And it's been about 3 or 4 months that I've been consciously focusing on embodiment, and it's a whole new world. It's really blowing my mind. That I used to not be able to sit at the park and not worry about what people 100 feet across the park were thinking about me. I couldn't settle. I couldn't be home in myself. And I was trying so hard to find home in other people, home in relationships, home in making this business successful. Who knows? This whole business may never support me. And I may end up having to go work at Taco Bell. That's okay. I'll figure something out. And for a while I thought in finding success in this business and finding financial stability through this work that I would be home. And I haven't found that yet. And even the months I have been able to support myself, those aren't the things that make me feel like me. I thought I would find it in a body, right? In a different body. And my body is still the same. And my relationship, my love life is still the same. My financial situation is still the same, but I'm different. And so everything around me is different. And that's what I want for you. We're all trying so hard to find this home outside of ourselves. We're trying to find the relationship or the job or the body that makes us feel whole and safe. And they're always going to disappoint you every single time, because that's not where your home is. Your home is in you. It's in your body. And we've all disconnected from a very early age. It happens very young, because at some point we were either told or subvertly taught, or we decided that our bodies was not a safe place to be. And I mean, if anything, these past couple weeks have really brought that to the surface. That is an undeniable truth, that women do not feel safe in their bodies. Our bodies are taught that they are for men and to be protected from men. Our bodies are supposed to look a certain way or they're wrong. Our bodies are supposed to be a certain color or they're wrong. And so we disconnect from them. We check out. And we feel deep, deep, dissatisfaction with our lives, with ourselves, with our relationships, as long as we are outside of our bodies. It does not matter how much soul work you do. I know this now. It does not matter how much you open your heart if you can't feel safe in your heart. It doesn't matter how much you unlock your womb if you don't feel safe in your womb. So that's why this work is so important, and that's why I'm holding Embody again. I didn't plan on holding it for another 6 months. It was going to be next year before I did Embody again, if ever. And it just came to me last week. The day I announced it, it actually hit me that morning. I need to hold this space again. Women need this. This is important. And so it's scary. Holding this space is fucking terrifying. It's bringing me on my own journey, It's showing me my own stuff that needs healing. And so I want you to know I'm alongside you on this. And I also have the experience to hold you as you learn it. And as you learn how to hold yourself, and as you find safety in yourself and in your body, because it's possible to come home to yourself, and it can be gentle. This course is 4 weeks, and it's gentle. It's so full of love. It's so full of safety, and it is so full of permission to not have it right and to not know how to do the thing. And I love it. I love this journey, and I want it for everybody. I want it for every woman that I know, because I know too many people walking around disconnected from their bodies, living in fear with intense anxiety that leads to, obviously, depression. And so I desire a different world for everyone. I desire a different experience for women and men too. I do feel eventually maybe I'll be including men in my work. We'll see. But right now I work with women, so I speak to women. I want you to know what it's like to feel comfortable in yourself, to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel whole, and to feel like you can do anything, to feel like you have this power to create and this power to be in your experience, and that your feeling, the things that you feel, your ability to feel them, your willingness to feel them, and your presence are magic. They're magic. And I don't say that lightly. I know that that's a big statement to say this is life-changing, to say this is magic, but it is. I've seen it in myself. I've seen it in clients. I've seen it in family and friends. And so, I invite you to consider, if you've been trying all the things and you feel like, oh, this is just another thing I'm going to fail at, or another thing, I invite you to get super clear on what you want in your life. What do you want to create? What do you want to cultivate in yourself? Is it abundance? Is it joy? Is it passion? Is it pleasure? Is it love? What do you deeply desire? Is it all of those things? And then decide, is this the container for you? And if not, go find the container for you. Go find the teacher for you. Go find the course for you. It's fine if it's not my course, If my container isn't for you, totally fine. Go find the one that is for you. Go find the thing that is going to hold space so that you can play and explore and learn and grow and evolve, because it's necessary. It's why we're here. We're not here just to pay bills and lose weight. That is not why we're here. Fuck that. Saving money and dieting are not the purpose of life. And so if you feel like that's what your life is full of, I invite you into something so much deeper, something so much more fulfilling. I have so much more to say, and there's so much more coming. I have some things in the works, some free things, and I don't know when they're coming or what, but I will share those as they come up. I invite you to join me for Embody. Registration closes tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day to sign up. It's $111 for 4 weeks of group healing. And what it is every week you get new embodiment practices. You'll get 2 embodiment practices and a breath work practice. What the breath work practice does is it creates that sense of safety and ease. You use the breath work practice to hold the bubble for you, to hold the safe space. And you use the embodiment practices to come home to yourself and to start feeling safer in your body and open communication with your body, to establish more frequent communication with your body, and then eventually to tap into your own sacred feminine, your own experience of femininity, of your goddess, of your enoughness, of your depth, of your deep emotional soul self. And then, so you get a new practice, 3 new practices for that every week. It goes straight to your email, and I have videos along with typed up. And the videos are all super short. They're all like around 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. Some are even like 3 minutes. But it's made to be super accessible, super practical, something that you can do and apply to your life, but it is also very deep. And the work you are doing is deeply transformational. It can be profound if you bring your intention to the space, if you bring yourself into the space. And so we also will have weekly group healing calls where every week we will hop on a call through Zoom, which is a video conference, and you don't have to be seen. If you don't want to be seen, you can turn your video off. You can mute. Everyone will be muted anyways, but you're not going to be seen or heard if you don't want to be. And I will hold space to do group healings, which are usually it's one of my favorite things to do. I love to read the energy of a group and see. The beauty of this is the sisterhood, of being able to see all these different women with all these different experiences, but then when you drop down into your body, when you drop down into your truth, to see that we're all experiencing something so similar, it helps you to develop compassion and empathy, but mostly it helps you to realize that you're not alone, that there is sisterhood in what you're experiencing. The sisterhood doesn't start in this higher life, right? You see like a lot of the women who talk about sisterhood, and myself included, are women who have like done this work, who feel good about themselves and are surrounded by other women who feel good about themselves. But that's not where the sisterhood starts. The sisterhood starts in the mud. You connect with women who are in the same kind of mud as you and realize we're all in very similar mud. And that helps you to feel not alone. That brings sisterhood. That brings a sense of connection. And do not ever underestimate what a sense of connection can do for your heart and for your body and for your sense of self. And so we have those every week. And then I also have a private Facebook group where you can receive support. I'm there to ask questions. If something comes up, you can hop in and let me know, and I'm there to support you. And also, if you want something deeper, if you want something more like what I just signed up for, if you want 6 months of deep transformation, of deep embodiment, of knowing and walking with the sacred feminine, then I invite you into Grace. Grace is my 6-month one-on-one journey. It's a deep dive into the sacred feminine and all the things I've been talking about. And it was born from the Embody journey. After I held space for Embody, Grace is the thing that came forward. And so anyone who signs up for Grace does get Embody totally free. So if you're like, I want Embody, but I also want more, then Grace is perfect, because you get Embody for free, plus all kinds of other extra bonuses. And you can find more information about both on my website at balancedrootsreiki.com, REIKI. And I'll also post the links in the comments. So yeah, that feels like that was a lot. So we will just finish with taking some breaths together to just come back to our space. So wherever you are, again, closing your eyes, taking a nice deep inhale. You can shake out your body. Inhaling, filling up. Letting everything go and pausing here for a moment before coming back. I also invite you to get up and shake yourself out, go dance or just shake your body, move your body in any way that feels good. Just to sort of process and integrate and digest everything that you just received energetically. Just by being here, by still being here on this call, you've received some energetic activation. So give yourself some space to let that move through you. And if anyone is interested in working with me or signing up for Embody, I'll post the links for all of that, or you can just message me or comment here. You can also email me. So with that said, I hope you have an amazing day, and I'm sending you so much love.